leading now in the race. Got my eyes on the prize, I shake it day by day. Even though on the journey we might fall on the way. Now if you fall 7 times, make sure you get back up, babe. What's it all mean? What's it all mean? That's what it all means. What's it all mean? What's it all mean? That's what it all means. What goes up must come down. What goes around comes around. Round us up we revolve. Life itself still evolves. Lots of things we don't know. Always more room to grow. Everything still goes on. After we're dead and gone, life goes on. 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 Thank y'all. Let's hit him up with something a little more upbeat, yeah? Feel free to clap. One, two, three, four. You the type of woman I'm afraid told me that I should've watched for. But I never listened through the smoke and mirrors. You tried to tell me what I didn't want to hear it. Knew all along but was calling my feelings. You see the big singers out. Should've paid attention. Let me tell you, I got a ghost that you can't see. If you legally out of my pockets, I'm holding down like I am PMP. I can't buy you watches, but if you take time to get tuned on the real me, then I can prove to you that I ain't the spot to let you know that I am a real G. Like a real G, baby, yeah. You need the high, so you call me when you're feeling down. If all you're gonna do is waste my time, then why don't you get her your own supply? Let's switch it up. Y'all feel all right? Get you high when you feeling low. I can get you high when you feeling low. I can get you high when you feeling low. Baby, I can be a dopey. Baby, if you need me, you can call. Baby, you don't got to be all alone. Baby, just holler if you wanna roll. You ain't gotta tell me what I know. It's hard when you spend most nights alone. I can note you down, baby, don't be the boss. You only want me so you can chase some goals. Is that why you always put it on the front? Cause you actually never know what you want. Or because you having issues with some trust. Or maybe we're both just faking love. Like a thief in the night, I'll see your heart. Then I'll break it the moment they die apart. So let me know what you want right from the start. I'm always gonna play my part. Baby, I could be a dopey. I could get you high when you're feeling low. I could get you high when you're feeling low. I could get you high when you're feeling low. Baby, I could be a dopey. Baby, if you need me, you can call. Baby, you don't got to be alone. Baby, just holler if you wanna roll. Thank you, thank you. This song is called Chasing, Chasing After the Wind. There's no point in chasing after things you can't change. Desire a love that's everlasting. Yet I chase temporary satisfaction. And then I wonder why I always feel I'm lacking, despite having everything I need. Through our life and its obstacles we'll face. Come with me. Some will go and some will stay. The only way is to endure all joy and pain, though at times it may seem in vain. Chasing after the wind can drive you crazy. Chasing things I never planned on changing. What's the point when there's no use in waiting on what won't change? Over time, when life's magic seems to fade, and the light doesn't shine like yesterday, where the sky is covered by all the clouds and rain, remember there'll be better days. Love lost, turning over many stones. Thus is life, for the seasons come and go. In that I thought it's best to surrender all my sorrows and pain, accepting what comes my way. Chasing after the wind can drive you crazy. Chasing things I never planned on changing. What's the point when there's no use in waiting on what won't change? So be the chase after tomorrow. This time we gotta borrow. Life is giving us today to be present in everything. No use in chasing after the wind. No bit out of your comfort zone, but we gonna work through it together. Approaching the first of the month, I don't think I have enough to even afford my rent. I'm losing my will to live. Once I hit age 26, I'm off on my mom's coverage. When she said get a real job, I probably should have listened. Finances taking a hit, I should go back to college. Racking 6 figures in debt for a job I might not even get. What's even the point of degrees if I'ma end up on the streets or working for Mickey D's? That's that BS I don't need. Now, the other option on my mind is not one that I usually try. But for the first time in my life, I think I might sell drugs. La la, 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 la la. School never mattered, but I'm already needing that FAFSA. I better hope the money stacks up, or my landlord will tell me to back up. It's true that nobody gives a unless it results in a surplus that make you want to sell po-up or make you grow up without growing up. Now every time I can see the veil, I secure the black market retail. At least then the bread would never stale. Son on the people that never cared, ever grub on our platters, but instead I became a rapper in my 20s so I could just have fun. But now I only be lacking funds, so now regret is on my mind. With things I probably shouldn't try. But for the first time in my life, I think I might sell drugs. Might sell drugs. For the first time in my life, I think I might sell drugs. Sing along if you know it. La la. Might sell drugs. For the first time in my life. Well, if I'm being real, for the 80th time in my life, I think I might sell drugs. See, the honest truth about adulthood is that it's full of empty promises. I guess if you look at the positives, you figure out everyone's winging it. My high school reunion is coming up. I'm mad I don't even have time to say on the people that didn't believe in me. That day is coming, I swear you see. But none of it matters the more you know. Most of us coming from broken homes, been through traumas that you wouldn't know. The things that you think when you really broke. That's the reason I don't villainize people committing nonviolent crimes so they can avoid a living life. You sleep under rules on sunny nights. Are you to judge? Are you to judge? Are you to judge? Thank you. We got one more song for y'all. Is that all right? Y'all deserve to get paid the right wage. Which is more. $15 an hour. If it isn't if you pay me, I ain't doing any more work until you give me what I deserve. But first things first, man, if you pay me, until you pay me what I'm worth, I ain't doing any more work until you give me what I deserve. Now no one man should ever have all that power. Most of us at the bottom only got empty dreams and the dollar. Cause I'll be danged if I use someone with the way I work with a man who got all the supply, but he always fails and beat all the mans. Cause I don't want to struggle no more with some bills that I can't afford. I pay a tax for some dumb work when there's nothing to be flooded for. I got enough things to deal with at home. I can't help but keep my enemies close. So you better not get up your hopes, cause right now I'ma let you go. Mother F, you pay me. I ain't doing any more work until you give me what I deserve. But first thing first, man, if you pay me. If you give me one word, I ain't doing any more work until you give me what I deserve. I ain't doing any more labor. You ask me for any more favors. I ain't doing any more until you give me my paper. Give it up, cause I ain't gonna win it till later. Around the count of four, let's all say, F you back it together. 1, 2, 3, 4. If you pay me, I ain't doing any more work until you give me what I deserve. But first thing first, man, if you pay me, until you pay me what I'm worth, I ain't doing any more work until you give me what I deserve. Forget you, baby. Thank y'all. Thank y'all for having me. If you guys like the music and whatever you hear, you can follow me on Instagram and all the social medias at The Philharmonic. I'll spell it out for you twice. THEPHILHARMONIK. Got it? THEPHILHARMONIK. Thank y'all. And good evening.
2020, I was honored to serve as his California political director for Senator Sanders for president. And now I'm the California director of Working Families Party. And we are here to recruit you. I don't know about you, but I'm tired. I'm tired of reading a headline of another greedy billionaire corporation attacking everyday Americans. I'm tired about reading another corporation crushing workers who are organizing, another private health care denying care to our families who need it, and landlords raising rents on everyday working families and seniors. Working Families Party imagines a different future. A California which invests in affordable homes, fights for clean air and water, and a state where our neighbors can walk into a hospital and get care, and any child can walk into their pre-K program knowing that their education will be tuition-free till community college, CSU, or UC. I know it's possible. I was formerly a youth organizer with high school students, and I ran for school board when I was 26 years old. I lost my first race, but then 2 years later, got back up and came in first place out of 15 candidates in the city of San Francisco. I won without any support from the political establishment. I door knocked. And 4 years later, I won a seat on the San Francisco Board of Supervisors, where I led and passed the first $15 minimum wage ordinance in the state. I fought for and won the most affordable and middle-income housing in our city's history. And in 2016, I made San Francisco the only city to make community college tuition-free for all of our residents. Thanks to a senator who made us believe that this dream is possible. And I didn't do this alone. I did this with everyday residents, folks that were formerly unhoused, immigrant seniors, young people, tenants, teachers, and organized labor. We need to do more than just defeat Trump and the oligarchy. We can do so much more. We can lead an agenda by the people and for the people. Because in the future, I want to read the headline of hundreds and thousands of Americans rallying against unjust deportations and firing of federal public servants, families reunited, and thousands of federal workers are rehired. I want to read the headlines. Students finally win tuition-free public college. And California turns the 23 state prisons we have built over the last 40 years into CSUs and UCs. And I want to read the headline: California is the first state in the nation to pass Medicare for all. And I know all of this is possible because in 2020, the most populous state in the country voted for Senator Bernie Sanders to be our nominee for United States President. And let me tell you a secret. I've been to the future, and we won. That's what we're doing at the Working Families Party, because calling your member of Congress works. because voting works, because unionizing works, because organizing together works. And in our first 3 years in this state, Working Families has recruited hundreds of Bernie Sanders and AOCs to run for school board, city council, and state legislature, including our very own Sacramento City Councilwoman Mai Vong, who's here today and celebrating her 40th birthday. And now they're introducing and winning legislation to fund playgrounds and affordable housing, to ban algorithms in our rental markets and our grocery stores, to fund legal services for our immigrants and our families, and protecting our communities from greedy billionaire corporations. We are the majority. And we will win. Thank you, California, for fighting for a future for all of us. Not me, 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 us. Thank you, California. Please give a big round of applause for our speakers who are coming up, and let's make sure Senator Bernie Sanders and Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez can hear us. Please give a warm welcome.
Please welcome to the stage Lorena Gonzalez, President of the California Federation of Labor Unions.
Wow, good evening. I wish you all could see what I can see right here. There's so many people, there's no room, and yet there's lines and lines of people trying to get in. This is amazing. Yeah, fuck that guy. He doesn't know what he's talking about. My name is Lorena Gonzalez. I am the daughter of a man who came to this country to pick our food and to make a better life for his children. And I'm the daughter and was raised by a single mom who was a nurse who taught me that hard work shouldn't mean a hard life. And so today I am proud to be the president of the California Federation of Labor Unions, representing 2.3 million union members in California and countless others who want a union. You know, in organized labor, we have a question. Now, it's a rhetorical question. But this question comes from the lyric of a song written in Harlan County, Kentucky in 1931 by a woman named Florence Reese. Florence's husband was a union organizer for the United Mine Workers at a time when corporate thugs supported by the government were going door to door and terrorizing union-friendly workers. The song simply asked one question: which side are you on? Today in America in 2025, I can think of no better question to ask you, to ask every elected official, to ask every candidate for office, to ask your neighbors, your family, your friends, which side are you on? Are you on the side of the workers? That's what I like to hear. workers breaking our backs to make ends meet, to feed our families and put a roof over our heads? Or are you on the side of corporate oligarchs who bust unions, suppress wages, and exploit profits off the sweat of our labor? I'm with the workers. Are you on the side of the combat veteran who bravely fought for our country and came home to the promise of a good federal job? Or are you on the side of a chicken hawk, bone-spurred commander-in-chief who just fired them? Who just fired those veterans without notice or reason to help fund tax breaks for billionaires? Whose side are you on? I'm on the side of the workers. Are you on the side of the working class and retired Americans who just saw their pensions and 401ks gutted because of an unstable, chaotic economic policies? Or are you on the side of the corrupt politicians and the 1% who actually got richer off the market manipulation that we saw last week? I'm on the side of the workers. Are you on the side of a law-abiding immigrant building trades apprentice, a Central Valley farm worker, an academic worker, and even a grad student who is ripped away from their jobs and family without notice? Or are you on the side of a jackboot deportation forces that send them to foreign prisons without due process? No. I'm on the side of the fucking Constitution. So are you on the side of organizing workers, baristas, warehouse workers, gig workers, hotel workers? All the workers fighting for a union. Are you on the side of our state workers fighting for a raise? Our transit workers in San Jose fighting for the right to strike? Our University of California workers like Upti behind me and AFSCME? All right, this is a side note. If you're on their side, they're going to strike on May 1st, and you can join that strike. Or are you on the side of Amazon and Starbucks and SpaceX and the boss and countless other corporations who are trying to invalidate our inalienable right to form a union, collectively bargain and strike by invalidating the National Labor Relations Act? I don't know about you, but I'm on the side of the workers. Are you on the side of Elon Musk and his billionaire boys club? Tech bros, out-of-touch elites? Or are you with truck drivers and teachers and nurses and TSA agents and farm workers and construction workers and healthcare aides? Are you with regular people? Hell yes! It's not a hard question, brothers and sisters. It shouldn't be a hard question. Because America today, California in 2025, isn't that different than Harlan County in 1931. Let me tell you, there are no neutrals. You have to pick a side. And we are on the side of workers and regular people and the fucking Constitution. So, we have a little chant we like to do in organized labor just to remind us what it takes to actually get back our country. It means that we have to stand up for ourselves and one another, side by side, not being intimidated, not being scared, not being silenced the way fancy lawyers and universities tend to be these days. No, we're regular people. We're fucking gonna stand up for ourselves. Because we know one thing. When we fight, go fucking win.
Please welcome to the stage Everett Kelly, National President of the American Federation of Government Employees.
Good evening, brothers, sisters, siblings, friends, and allies. My name is Everett Kelly. I am the National President of the American Federation of Government Employees, AFGE. On behalf of the 820,000 federal and D.C. government workers represented by AFGE, I want to start by saying thank you to all of you in this audience today. Thank you to Bernie for hosting these events across the country and for inviting AFGE to be a part of them. Thank you to Bernie and AOC for their steadfast commitment to the labor movement and standing up for patriotic civil servants who are under attack. Come on, give a round of applause for them. And thank you for the people that have taken time out of their busy schedule to show up here today. For standing up for what you believe in, for fighting for justice, and for giving hope to the dedicated Americans I represent who serve our nation every day in the federal government. Thank you. Now, we're here today not just as a union member. Federal employees are veterans. We're here as defenders of democracy and freedom, champions of justice, protectors of the American way of life. Today, brothers and sisters, our nation is at a crossroad. Oligarchy is on the rise in America. Do I need to tell you that? Ultra-wealth billionaires and corporate elites like Elon Musk and Donald Trump are systematically attacking our democracy, our rights, and our freedom. Now, their aim isn't national security or efficiency. That's just the cover story. Their real goal is raw power. But what they forgot is that we're the ones that have the power. Let me hear you say, we got the power. Now, just last month, the president issued an unprecedented executive order targeting AFGE and union rights of over 1 million American workers, a third of whom are veterans. Now, they want you to believe that after having been around for over 9 decades, through wars and terrorist attack and pandemics, our union is suddenly a threat to national security. Give me a break. Now, let's be clear. They don't want to get rid of our union because of safety or security. Can I tell y'all what it's about? Can I tell y'all? Do y'all want to know? It's all about retaliation. It's payback against AFG members and for their courageous stand against the reckless attempt to privatize and politicize government agencies. That's what it's all about. It's because we've been kicking them behind in court, in the court of public opinion. We've been kicking them behind, and so they want to retaliate. For fighting back against the chaotic firing and that harms Americans nationwide. For challenging lawless action designed to corrupt our government. They don't like that our members are standing up. They don't like like that you standing up. And they don't like that we're winning. So they are trying to use government power to silence their voice. And it's not just AFG they're trying to silence. They're trying to silence universities, law firms, student protesters, immigrants, business and community leaders, union members, and more. But they have a simple, chilling message for anyone who want to speak out. And let me tell you what that message is. Get in line or else. You know, America was faced with a situation just like this in 1776. This is a direct quote from the Declaration of Independence outlining why the American colonies were declared independent from King George III. And I quote, "For cutting off trades with all parts of the world, for imposing taxes on us without our consent, for depriving us in many cases of the benefit of trial by jury, for transporting us beyond seas to be tried for unpretended offenses." Brothers and sisters, does that sound familiar to anyone here today? Now, this fight isn't just about federal workers. It's not just about unions. It's about the very principles that our nation was founded upon, and FGE is here standing on principle. That's why we're fighting. Not just for us, not just for our union, not just for our government, but we're fighting for all of you and the millions of Americans that believe in democracy. We're fighting for our freedom. That's why I'm delivering this message. AFGE will not be intimidated. We will not be silenced. We'll stand up and we'll say, hands off our union. We will stand up and we'll say, hands off our democracy. Let me hear you say, hands off our freedom. We won't let them dismantle Social Security and steal from seniors who worked hard all of their life, will we? We won't let them strip rights and benefits from veterans who served our country with honor, will we? We won't let them gut agencies that protect us from pollution and disease, will we? We won't let them abolish agencies that keep workers safe on the job, will we? They want us to shut up, but what we're going to do, we're going to stand up. They want to make it easy on them. They want us to make it easy, but we refuse. We're fighting in courtrooms, we're fighting in Congress, in the media, and we're in the streets. We're ready. We're united. And we are together. Say together. We will stop this oligarch from taking root. To every American hearing my voice today, this is not a partisan issue. This is a question of justice and democracy. It's a choice. It's a choice. Will you stand with the working people to keep America running? Or will you stand with Elon Musk, Donald Trump, and those billionaire buddies? Where I stand, AFGE stand with the American people. AFGE stand with veterans, with the workers who keep our nation strong. We know this is a marathon. We know the war will be long, but guess what? We are strong. We are united. We are ready to win. Are you ready? There may be some dark moments. We've seen some already. But I know a scripture that says that weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. All I'm saying to say is this: morning is coming. Joy is coming, brothers and sisters. Hope is coming. Love is coming. Change is coming, because we are coming. We are coming. And we have the power. We have the power. Will you stand with us? Will you fight with us? We have the power. We, the people. There is power in we. Say we. Say we. We have the power. coming for you. Thank you, and God bless you.
Please welcome to the stage Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
How we feeling, Folsom? I hear, thank you. Thank you all so much. You know, I heard that someone started flying a plane with a banner that said, this is Trump country. It sure don't look like it today. I don't think this is Trump country. I think this is our country. Because we're not afraid of them anymore, are we? I want to thank each and every one of you for making the effort to be here today. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I know it's really not lost on Bernie or myself, the sacrifice that it takes to take the time out of your day to get someone to cover your shift at work, to carpool, to figure out how to be here today. And we really cannot thank you enough, because this is the power of this moment, coming together, being here together, meeting one another. And I want everyone to look side to side. I want everyone to leave here today knowing someone new that you didn't know walking into this on the way out. Because those are going to be the people right here that are going to change this country and change Folsom in the next year or two. Isn't that right? My name is Alexandria. Some of you may know me as AOC. And from the bottom of my heart, I want to thank you for such a warm welcome. And we are all here together because we share in the frustration and the heartache that comes from watching those in power actively tear down or refuse to fight for everyday working Americans like us. We are here together because an extreme concentration of power, greed, and corruption is taking over our country like never before. Oligarchy. And we must acknowledge forthright the terrifying moment that we are in right now. That what we are hearing and seeing with our own eyes is, in fact, happening. We are watching as our neighbors, students, and friends are being fired, targeted, and disappeared. It is real. People we love are being targeted and harassed just for being LGBTQ. Our co-workers, U.S. citizens and immigrants alike, are being disappeared off the street by men in vans with no uniform. Educators are being fired for teaching American history accurately. And activists are being detained with no charge or evidence for using their First Amendment rights, especially if they are using those First Amendment rights to speak up for Palestinians and to end the war in Gaza. In fact, the Trump administration admits that it has jailed a young father and husband, Mahmoud Khalil, without any evidence or charge of a crime. They admit that they've thrown Mahmoud in a cell thousands of miles away from his family because he attended a protest and they did not like the content of his speech. Be very clear, Folsom. Donald Trump's detention of Mahmoud Khalil for his speech is anti-American, and we demand his release, along with the release of Rumeisa Ozturk, who he is also jailing for writing an op-ed in her school paper. And we also demand the return of Kilmar Abrego Garcia in El Salvador. We tell President Bukele, if we believe in democracy, he must be returned. It is criminal that he is being held abroad. And we demand these things because we do have power in this moment. All of us do. Everyday people do. And it will never, ever just be institutions or politicians and officials alone that uphold our democracy. It will always be the people, the masses, who refuse to comply with authoritarian regimes, who are the last and strongest defense of our country and our freedoms. You, Folsom, you. We know that a better world is possible, and we are willing to do something about it. But to get there, we need to be honest about how we got to where we are right now. Because this moment did not come out of nowhere, Folsom. It has been a long time coming. The destruction of our rights and our democracy is directly tied to the growing and extreme wealth inequality that has been building in America for years. It is not a coincidence that billionaires like Elon Musk have dumped billions into this election to support Donald Trump. He sure is as hell is not doing it for charity. For years, we have known that our political system has slowly but surely become dominated by big money and billionaires. And time after time, we have seen how our government and laws are more responsive to corporations and lobbyists than everyday people and voters. And we also know that the agenda of dark money to keep our wages low and to loot our public goods like Social Security and Medicare to give to the rich, we know that this is deeply unpopular with the American people, Republican, Independent, and Democrat alike. But just look at what Republicans in Congress have been quietly doing. They have been voting to advance cuts on hundreds of billions of dollars from Medicaid and veterans benefits so that they can take that money and give it to their donor class. All in the form of paying for tax cuts for the rich and sweetheart government contracts for their companies like SpaceX. You know who voted for that, by the way? The man who represents you right here in Congress, Kevin Kiley. But you know how many people are here in Folsom today? 26,000 of you have gathered to tell Kevin Kiley, hell no! Hands up our Medicare, hands off our Medicaid, hands off our Social Security. Kevin Kiley knows that this is not what you want. He knows that it is deeply unpopular. He knows that it hurts the people of Folsom. But he is not there to serve working families. He is there to serve himself and the billionaire class that put him there. But he knows that the only chance he has to get away with such unpopular and destructive decisions is to stoke deep divisions along race, identity, and culture to keep all of us fighting and distracted. This has been the big money playbook, not just now, but for decades. And we are not going to fall for it anymore. But Folsom, this is why Donald Trump is not an aberration. He is the logical, inevitable conclusion of an American political system dominated by corporate and dark money. And if we are to defeat him, we must defeat the system that created him. Money in politics is the hand of oligarchy. America, we are at a crossroads. We can either have extreme wealth inequality with the toxic division and corruption that it requires to survive, or we can have a fair economy for working people along with the democracy and freedoms that uphold it. Oligarchy or democracy, but we cannot have both. I grew up in a working class family. My mom cleaned houses, and my dad worked on a small business. And my parents worked themselves to the bone so that my brother and I could just have a shot. The American dream. And for a moment there, it looked like we were going to make it. We had a home, bills were getting a little less stressful to pay, and I was doing well in public school. And what may have looked like a modest life to others was a dream come true for us. But suddenly, when I was a teenager, my dad was diagnosed with a rare form of cancer. And after a long fight, we lost him. My dad actually passed away in September of 2008, just as the economy crashed in the Great Recession and millions of jobs across the country vanished. It felt like the little world of our family fell apart, just as the larger world was falling apart too. And overnight, my mom was left alone to figure out how to provide and put 2 kids through school, keep our house, pay off our medical bills, all on a house cleaner's salary. And that is how I became a waitress, to help pay the bills. Because at that time, just as it is now, it was millions of working families who paid the price, while billionaires and thieves who defrauded our financial system got off richer than ever before. And not a single one of them went to jail. And now that is the story that Republicans mock. Not mine, but all of ours, when they say that a waitress or a working person is unqualified to serve in Congress. But the fact is, Folsom, many of us are far more qualified to know what real life is really like than any of them ever will. And I tell this story not because it is special, but because of how common and normal it is, and how normal this barbarism is of how so many people are allowed to live today. And And while the details may differ, so many of us knows what it feels like for life to be one bad day, one bad piece of news, or one major setback from feeling like it's all going to fall apart. We don't have to live like this anymore, Folsom. We can make a new world, Folsom, a better country where we fight for the dignity of all people. And it looks like living wages, California. It looks like stable housing. It looks like guaranteed health care and respect for all our differences, no matter who we are or where we come from. Oligarchy or democracy. And we are here today because we choose democracy. We choose freedom. And that means we must choose to out-organize the oligarchy. We must do away with the power of big money. And that is why, even as a waitress with the Long Shot campaign, I decided I would never take money from lobbyists or corporations, and it's why I never will. When I first got to Congress, I was genuinely shocked by how the place worked, even having run against dark money in the first place. The everyday influence of corruption and dark money was astonishing. We have somehow conditioned ourselves in Congress to believe that it's normal for elected representatives who swear an oath to the American people to day trade individual stock and make millions with the sensitive information that we are entrusted with for the purpose of governing. How can anyone possibly make an objective vote on health care, energy, or war when their personal money is tied up in pharmaceutical companies, oil and gas companies, or defense company stocks? You can't. And we saw this play out this week with Trump's corrupt and disastrous tariff scheme. We can see now that his tariff shuffle didn't have anything to do with manufacturing like they claimed. I hope we recognize now that it was all about manipulating the markets so that he could quietly enrich his friends who bought the dip before reversing it all in the morning. Folsom, what I'm about to say is a matter of fact. Donald Trump is a criminal. He was found guilty of 34 felony counts of fraud, liable for sexual abuse. Of course he is lying and manipulating the stock market too. And if Donald Trump wants to find the rapists and criminals in this country, he needs to look in a mirror today. To be clear, I don't care what party you are, Democrat or Republican. It doesn't matter how powerful one is or what position they hold. Members of Congress holding and trading individual stock is wrong. It is corrosive, it is destructive, and it needs to be banned. You know, just this year, earlier this year, I was named to the Energy and Commerce Committee in the House of Representatives. And this is one of the most powerful committees in all of Congress. It oversees 2/3 of the American economy: healthcare, manufacturing, trade, energy, communications, you name it. And for years, lobbyists fought to keep me off of this committee because they don't like what they don't control. And an interesting thing happened on the day that it was announced that I would be assigned to the committee. Our phones rang off the hook and my office's inboxes were flooded by every corporate lobbyist under the sun. All of a sudden, one, they wanted to be best friends. But you know what, Folsom? Because of your support, because of gatherings like here today, because you allow me to not take a dime in corporate money, you free me to say no. You free me to fight for Medicare for all people. You free me to fight for a renewable energy economy. But not everyone is so lucky. I've seen firsthand how these groups bully and pressure members of Congress. They threaten to take their money away or to spend it against them if they don't do what they want. And what they want is for our lives to be as expensive as possible on the lowest possible wage. What they want is for as many people to be exploited in America as possible. And it trickles down to how life feels for working people today. So I want us to understand that this constant pressure that we feel in our lives, of the water rising up to our throats, the impossibility to afford anything easily, the fear of speaking up or being who we are in public, the bitter divisions driven more by online algorithms than the truth, the crumbling of our rights and protections, understand that this, right now, is what it feels like to be governed by billionaires. Not someday, but right now. And the first step is to open our eyes to that. Because of course, it is a system that depends on division to enable its inequality that will favor a president who is the best at dividing us and the most skilled at corruption. And it will also reward the Republicans in Congress who support that agenda no matter what crimes are committed, including crimes from the White House. Big money is how we got Donald Trump. His whole presidency began with launching tools for bribery, meme coins and cryptocurrencies to fleece normal people and move money in the dark, extortion settlements from media companies and law firms who gladly pay the price. And he even removed duly elected officials, including Republican ones, from the chamber of the inauguration to make room for who he really wants in charge, the unelected billionaires who were standing behind him. They have one central economic mission: to make billionaires richer at the expense of all of us. So it does not surprise us that their first economic mission has been to smear and target Medicaid, Medicare, and Social Security, to fire our federal workers, and to abandon our veterans for hundreds of billions of dollars in cuts so that they can hand that money off to their donors. And the things that they say are crazy. Crazy. Medicaid is one of the most efficient and effective public systems, lowest in fraud that we have in the United States. Just yesterday, I saw on television, on Fox News, you had this woman, Jeanine Pirro. Crazy thing about Jeanine Pirro is that she's from Westchester County, where I went to public school, and it's like, wow, how things have evolved there. Anyways, so Jeanine Pirro goes on television. She says, as though this is fraud, she says that they found so many babies and 2-year-olds and 4-year-olds who were receiving Social Security. I've got a notice for you, Jeanine Pirro. Those babies get Social Security because their parents died. That's not a waste. That's humanity. That's America. That's the country that we fight for. Those are the promises we make to one another. That is what it means to be in a civilized society. It's not waste. It is the best of us. Folsom, I know that it at times times can look impossible out here for the Republicans to be defeated. But that is not true. It is simply not true. From the waitress who is now speaking to you today, I can tell you impossible is nothing. Miracles start with mustard seeds, and that is what each and every one of you represent today. Small miracles of faith in ourselves, in each other, and in the refusal to give up. So Folsom, we are here for the long haul, for the school boards and the community associations, for small business groups and town councils, for public art and gestures of inclusion. And we will build from there, because Kevin Kiley will not be a congressman for much longer if you've got anything to do with it. And by the way, as they try to cut Medicaid, Medicare, and Social Security, we just need to peel off 3 Republican congressmen in the entire country. And I got a feeling that you might do it right here in Folsom. And if you do it, Folsom, then the people here today will have saved Medicaid for the entire United States of America. We stand with you, we are here with you, and we will support you. Beyond elections, our task is also to build community. Block associations, volunteer groups, advocacy organizations, PTAs, church and faith groups, because community is the most powerful building block we have to defeat authoritarianism and root out corruption. This is the path to guaranteeing health care to every American, to establishing a living minimum wage, to take on skyrocketing rents and mortgages, to tackle the climate crisis and establish a country where the American dream is actually possible for all of us. So I will end where I began. We may all come from different places, but we share so many of the same experiences. So to all those who came here today unsure of whether or not this is where you belong, I want to say affirmatively that you do. No matter if you have all the right words to say, no matter your race, religion, gender identity, or status, you know, if you even voted for Donald Trump in the past and are open to changing your mind, come on in. If you are willing to fight for someone you don't know, you are welcome here. If you are willing to fight for working people regardless of who they are, how they identify, or where they come from, you are welcome here. Because here, everyone is valued. But we have to stand together. We cannot be tempted to turn in our neighbors or be fooled into thinking that we're really that much different than the trans kid who wants to get accepted at school. We can't fall for the ruse that we're that different than the dreamer who wants to provide for their family and fulfill our country's promise. It is standing together without exception to reject division. That is the only way that we can win. So I hope that you see this movement is not about partisan labels or purity tests, but it is about class solidarity. The thousands of you who came out here today to stand together and say our lives deserve dignity and our work deserves respect. We are here to make a sacred promise to one another. And our goal goal is to commit to building the kind of country that we all deserve. And we will make that promise, to take care of each other on our worst days and to share in the successes of our best. Thank you, Folsom. Thank you for having me. And with that, it is my honor to introduce someone who has spent his life bringing us together. Everyone, please welcome Senator Bernie Sanders.
Folsom, thank you. You know, Alexandria and I a few days ago were in LA. LA is a city of some 4 million people, and we had some 36,000 people out, a great turnout. Folsom is a city of 85,000, and we have almost as many people here as we had in LA. I'm told we have close to 30,000 people here. Unbelievable. Let me thank Folsom Lake College, Aisha Shaw, Dog Patch, the Philharmonic, Jane Kim, Lorena Gonzalez, and Everett Kelly. And let me thank Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez for not only being a great member of Congress, but for being an inspiration to millions of young people throughout this country. We are here this evening to say very loudly and clearly to Mr. Trump and people all over this country, we as Americans will not accept oligarchy. We will not accept authoritarianism. And we will not accept a rigged economy where working people struggle while billionaires become richer. We will not accept a situation where, if you can believe it, one man, Elon Musk, you've heard of Elon. Elon owns more wealth than the bottom 50% of households in America. That, brothers and sisters, is insane. We have got to, together, create an economy that works for working people, not just Mr. Musk and the billionaire class. And to make a bad situation even worse, at a time of unprecedented income and wealth inequality, never had more inequality ever in America than we have today, Mr. Musk and the Republicans in Congress are working on a reconciliation bill. And this is legislation that would give $1.1 trillion in tax breaks to the top 1%, and they pay for that by cutting Medicaid by $880 billion, cutting nutrition programs for hungry kids, and cutting affordable housing. Now, you've got a congressman here whose name is Kevin Kiley. So I don't know if Mr. Kiley is watching the live stream or not. But Mr. Kiley, I think some of your constituents have a message for you. Don't vote to give tax breaks to billionaires and cut programs that the working class of this country desperately needs. And by the way, Mr. Kiley, I have a feeling that some of your constituents would love to sit down and chat with you on that issue. Now, Alexandria comes from New York City. I come from Vermont. We've come a long way here. The least you could do is sit down with your constituents right here. You know, as I observe what's going on in D.C., I think a little bit about American history. And I think about Abraham Lincoln at Gettysburg in 1863, and I think you all know this. Lincoln was there a few days after that horrific battle where 20,000 Union soldiers were killed or wounded in the fight to end the nightmare of slavery. And Lincoln looked out on the field just a few days after that carnage, and he said, you know what? Our vision of America is a government of the people, by the people, for the people. And that's why Alexandria and I are here this evening. We believe in a government of the people, by the people, and for the people, not a government of the billionaires, by the billionaires, and for the billionaires. And when we talk about oligarchy, it's not just the incredible economic power that the billionaires have, which is unprecedented. And it's not just about the massive income and wealth inequality, which is also unprecedented. Today in America, as a result of that disastrous Supreme Court decision on Citizens United, billionaires like Musk can put unlimited amounts of money into both political parties. So Mr. Musk himself put $270 million to elect Donald Trump as president. And that, for Musk, was a pretty good investment. Not a lot of money when you're worth $300-400 billion. So it's a modest investment. And his reward was to become the most powerful person in the United States government. But I must tell you, it is not only Musk and the Republicans who are putting huge amounts of money to make sure they elect the candidates of their choice. It is Democrats as well. And there is a reason why Democrats for so many years have not had the courage to stand up to the ruling class and represent working people, and that is because that party is dominated by corporate interests. So today we say loudly and clearly, and I think in saying this I speak for conservatives and progressives and moderates. The time is now to get rid of this disastrous Citizens United Supreme Court decision and move to public funding of elections. But brothers and sisters, it is not just oligarchy that we are fighting. We are fighting a president who undermines our Constitution every single day and threatens our freedom of speech and freedom of assembly. We are fighting a president whose agents are rounding up innocent people off the streets, throwing them into unmarked vans, and sending them to detention centers here in the United States, in El Salvador and elsewhere. That is not what happens in a democracy. That's what happens in a dictatorship. And together, we are not going to allow Donald Trump to create an authoritarian society. You know, the founding fathers of our country were not dummies. They had just fought a war against the British Empire and defeated the most powerful person on earth at that time, the King of England. And they sat around and they said, you know what? As we develop our new country, this is in the 1790s, what they were saying is we do not want to give one person unlimited power. And they developed a separation of powers. We got an executive, a legislative branch, and a judiciary to keep check on each other. And every single day, you got a president who wants more and more power for himself. He is usurping the power of the Congress. He is now challenging in an unprecedented way the role of the judiciary in America. Supreme Court recently ruled in a 9-0 decision that a man who was illegally picked off the street and sent to El Salvador has got to be returned. A 9-0 decision of the Supreme Court. Mr. President, obey the law. But it is not just Congress and the judiciary whose power he is trying to assume. It is the media as well. Apparently, he does not understand that in America we have freedom of speech. He has sued ABC, CBS, Meta, the Des Moines Register. His FCC is now investigating NPR and PBS. Just the other day, he said that CBS should lose its license. You know what they did? They ran a program which was critical of some of his policies. How terrible. And this is from a guy who has spent his entire political career attacking people, lying about people in the most vicious ways. So we say to Trump, if you can't take criticism, get out of politics. This is a democracy, and criticism and freedom of speech is what it's all about. Brothers and sisters, our job is not just right now to defeat the very dangerous situation inherent in Trumpism. We've got to fight them every single day. But we have got to do more than that. We have got to create a vision of what a new America is about, where we have a government and an economy that works for all of us, not just a few. This is the wealthiest country in the history of the world. We should not have the highest rate of childhood poverty of almost any major country on earth. 0 through 4 are the most important years of human development. We should have the best child care system in the world, not a dysfunctional system. We should have the strongest public education system on earth. Do we have any teachers here? Thank you, teachers. And we want to make sure that our teachers are well paid and are respected. No teacher in America should start off at less than $60,000 a year. Unlike Trump, we understand the importance of education. Learning and growing intellectually is part of what being human is about. And in a competitive global economy, we need the best educated workforce in the world. We need more doctors, we need more nurses, we need more dentists, we need more electricians, plumbers, sheet metal workers. Young people should not have to go deeply in debt to get the education they need. You know, back in 1944, President Franklin Delano Roosevelt, one of the great presidents in our history, he said something that was enormously profound. It kind of got passed over because we're in the middle of World War II. But what he said at that point is that, look, we have a great Constitution, freedom of speech, freedom of assembly, freedom of religion, etc., but we're lacking something. And what we're lacking is the understanding that economic rights are human rights. Now, the establishment doesn't want us to understand what that means. But what it means is that living in this country, the richest country on earth, a country where today we're seeing an explosion of technology, which is going to make us even wealthier. What we want is that technology to work for working people, not just the owners of the corporations. Brothers and sisters, it is not a radical idea. It really isn't. You know, the establishment and the moneyed interests will tell you, oh, this is a terrible idea. But in this country, every man, woman, and child can and should have a decent standard of living. We should not have. What a disgrace. In LA, here in Burlington, Vermont, we got together as a nation 800,000 people sleeping out on the streets of America. We've got 20 million people who are spending half of their limited incomes on housing. Maybe instead of spending $1 trillion a year on the military, what about building 5 million units of low-income and affordable housing? If you can believe it, and it's true, over the last 52 years, the average American worker today, in inflation accounted for dollars, is earning less than he or she did back then. You got that? Think about all of the increase in worker productivity. They didn't have computers back there. They didn't have cell phones. Workers are producing much more today than they did 52 years ago, and yet in real dollars, they're earning less. It is time to raise the minimum wage to a living wage. Brothers and sisters, it is the trade union movement in America that has developed and created the middle class. And millions of workers all over America want to join unions. We got some trade unionists here tonight. Thank you. They want to join unions, but they're unable to do so because the employers use illegal tactics to prevent them from organizing. And that is why we're going to pass what's called the PRO Act to make sure that every worker in America will be able to join a union. You may or may not know that in America today, we remain the only major country on earth not to guarantee health care to all people as a human right. We have a health care system which is broken, which is dysfunctional, which is cruel. As a nation, we are spending almost twice as much. We spend over $14,000 for every man, woman, and child for health care. $14,000. And yet, despite spending so much, 85 million Americans are uninsured or underinsured. 60,000 Americans die each year because they cannot afford to go to a doctor when they should. I have talked to doctors in Vermont and all over this country who treat patients who walk in the door and they say, "Why didn't you come in here when you first felt your symptoms?" And the patient said, "I'm uninsured, or my deductible is too high. I just didn't have the money." That is outrageous. It is unacceptable. We must pass Medicare for all. And guarantee health care to every man, woman, and child. And when we talk about what oligarchy is about, and when we talk about what corporate greed is about, I want you to hear one fact that you won't see in the corporate media or hear in the halls of Congress. Right now, as a nation, our life expectancy, how long we live, is about 4 years less than other major countries. That's pretty bad. Do you know what's even worse? If you are working class in America, on average, you will live 7 years shorter lives than if you are wealthy. And you know why that is? Why is that? You got it. Everybody knows. The word is stress. I grew up in a working class family. And I've been all over this country talking to working class people. Do you know what it's like to wake up in the morning and wonder about whether you're going to be able to feed your kids or not? You know what it's like to know that when you get sick or your mother is ill, you may not have the money to get the medical care you need? You know what it's like that when your car breaks down, you don't have the $1,000 you need to repair it? You can't get to work? All over this country, people are struggling every single day just to survive. Brothers and sisters, in the richest country in the history of the world, we can do a hell of a lot better than that. Thank you. But in truth, it is not Bernie. It is you. And that's not rhetoric. If we are going to defeat Trumpism, if we're going to create the kind of nation that we know we can become, it's going to take millions and millions of working people standing up together, educating, organizing, knocking on doors, forming unions. We can do it. Now, what the ruling class of this country does, and they do it brilliantly, I must confess, what they do is essentially tell you, you are powerless. Ain't nothing you can do, because we, the oligarchs, we got all the money, we got all the power, we own the media, we own the Congress. Ain't nothing you can do about it. Well, we are here this evening to tell them, hey guys, you got it wrong. Because when we stand together and not let Trump and his friends divide us up by the color of our skin, or where we were born, or our sexual orientation, or our religion, when we stand together, there is nothing we cannot accomplish. So in this pivotal moment in American history, what I have discovered, as Alexandria and I go all over this country, we are seeing unbelievable turnouts. We were in Idaho. We had 12,000 people coming out in Idaho, most conservative state in the country. We had 20,000 people in Salt Lake City, a Republican state. And I think what the American people, Republicans, Independents, Democrats are saying, sorry, Mr. Trump, we don't want your oligarchy. Sorry, Mr. Trump, too many men and women have fought and died to defend democracy. You're not going to take us into authoritarianism. And sorry, Mr. Musk, we're going to create an economy that works for us, not just for you. So, brothers and sisters, I recognize that the oligarchs have enormous power. They have unlimited amounts of money, and they are extraordinarily greedy. They want it all. But the last that I have heard, I'm not a mathematician, but I do know that 99% is a hell of a lot bigger number than 1%. So let us stand together. Let us defeat Trumpism. Let us create the kind of America we know we can become. Thank you very much.